Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world, whenever you are listening to this. Welcome to another Solution Sunday. I am Lisa Warner, and I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing and creator of Aligning with Your Radiantly Healthy Self. And I am here today with my very dear friend, Kathy Bradley. She is an international best-selling author, consciousness facilitator, and creator of Kathy Bradley and the Angels. So good morning, Kathy. It's so nice to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Lisa. It's wonderful to be with you and your radiant smile.
Hey, if we can't smile about life, what's the good of it?
There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so if anyone is listening live in Soul Sourced Healing this morning, drop us a little note, say hello. And if you have any questions along the way in our conversation about the non-physical realms this morning, please pop it in the chat. And hopefully, if all works right, technology-wise, I will see it. Beautiful. So Kathy, you work with the angels all the time. So you are well versed, well traveled in the non-physical realms. So what can you say about the non-physical realms to get us started off today?
The first thing that I would say is the non-physical realm is all around us. It's in everything. It's in the air that you breathe. It's all of energy. And so I'd like to clarify, because some people are like, oh, it's woo-woo and it's out there. And I see your picture, but I don't see your video now.
It'll pop right back up. Hopefully this
Okay, I just want to make sure.
There we go.
There we go. I see you back. And so to realize that it's everywhere and that it's this vast, vast, unlimited energetic space where messages can come to us for our highest good so that we can live in the physical realm, in earth, and manifest. That's why we're here, to create. We are creators. So by connecting with this untapped source, it guides us, it gives us direction, it gives us clarity. So why not connect with it? It's amazing.
I mean, we've been, our thoughts become things like Mike Dooley.com, the notes from the universe, his tagline.
I love that. Isn't it wonderful?
Right? It is. It's great. Thoughts become things. So choose the good ones. And most people don't think of our thoughts as being non-physical and being in the non-physical realms. I think there's this idea that the non-physical realms are like heaven that's off somewhere else that's not here right now. So I love that you're talking about it's right here, right now, all around us.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because we can't see it in physical form doesn't mean that it's not real. We've got sound, we've got frequency, we've got color, light, we've got all kinds of things that we don't see with our eyes that are they're right here. Sound, non-physical, like real stuff.
Exactly.
Non-physical.
Absolutely, yeah. So then tapping into that so that we do have a fruitful life. So I like what you brought up about the thoughts, because what we think is what we create. So every thought that we think comes about in a form. And unfortunately, we've been programmed and we've been brought up to think about limitation, about lack, about fear, about what we don't want. And then we wonder, like, why do I keep having these crazy situations come up? And it's because we keep focusing on what we don't want, unknowingly, unconsciously. So what do you do to help shift that? I know you're great at this. This is what yeah. So how we bring that change about?
Yeah. I mean, we're all, the funny thing is, like, we're all great at this. Like, this is
Mm.
what we do naturally. We do it all day, every day, but we don't do it consciously. So therefore we keep manifesting the same things that we don't like, so my answer to your question is, how do I change the things that I don't like, is that the first thing is I have to start to realize, well, wait a minute, all choices exist, all possibilities exist.
Mm.
You know, there's a possibility of, you know, living on a yacht, sailing around the world in a yacht. People do that all the time. Like, there are people that live on yachts and sail around the world. There are people that live in campers and drive around the world. There are people that they're doctors or they're lawyers. I mean, there's like, all possibilities exist.
Mm-hmm.
The possibility of disease, the possibility of well-being, they all exist. You see it all the time. Some people are doing disease, some people are doing radiant health and well-being, some people are being athletes. Like, all possibilities exist. So when we're living in a possibility that we don't prefer, living in lack or limitation or disease, the first thing is to realize that there is other choices. Like,
Right.
we can create something completely different. And it's not a matter of trying to fix what's broken or change what we don't like. It's the ability to move our attention and our focus over to what it is that we do want, so that our thought space is filled with what we want, so that we can literally bring our attention to what it is that we want, and we can focus on it. And what we focus on is what comes into view. This is like how we create our reality.
Mm. And it's interesting when you were talking about that, I was thinking about when we're in these challenging times, very often it's the resistance that keeps us in those challenging times. And one of the best things that I've learned is, if I can accept where I am, that acceptance, because then I see the role that I played, and maybe it served me, even though it could have brought me into the dark night of the soul. It created this path for me through the acceptance. Okay, now I see the role I played, and the big end, what would I like to shift to that may bring me some joy and some happiness, rather than maybe some pain and limitation.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, so acceptance is very overlooked. I think we're brought up to resist what we don't want. And one of the first things I learned when I became a Reiki master is, whatever you resist persists.
Exactly.
Right? And it's so, unlike what we think, well, if I'm going to resist it, I'm not going to have it. But then we create this wall, and we're not able to get through that wall. If we go through the acceptance, then it opens us up to the unlimited possibilities.
Absolutely. And I think too that acceptance has been kind of misunderstood,
Mm-hmm.
meaning like, oh, like, I have to be totally okay with this and just, accept that this is my reality, you know, thinking that, okay, now if this reality is my reality, I'm just stuck with it. But it's really what I see now, now that I've kind of moved through these things myself, is that acceptance is basically just noticing where we are, like noticing
Exactly.
where I'm at. It's like, damn, I don't know how I created this, but wow, I'm in a mess right here. Like, this isn't a whole lot of fun. I think I would rather experience something else. So, if we use my example of, facing cancer, that was like, whoa, I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? There was a lot of resistance there. and
Yeah.
And finally, it was just like, okay, great. Now, what am I going to do about this? Like, I got myself into this pickle boat, so I can obviously get myself back out.
What helped you get to that point? Like, how did
Well,
you make that shift? Because that's a key.
yeah, I mean, I had read when I started my awakening process, um, I always knew there was something more to this reality than what meets the eye. And
Mm,
when I started my awakening process, I came across the Cryon book. I had had a reading from a girlfriend who was doing spiritual channeling at the time, and I'm like, that sounds cool. Let me see what she has to say. And out of that reading, which when it was happening, was like, oh, I don't know how she knows this. Like, I know that she's not the one that's talking to me, but everything she's saying, it goes straight to my heart. Like, this is home. Like, whatever she is saying, this makes total sense to me. And at the end of the reading, she said, oh, and the name of a book is coming through to me, and it's The Journey Home by Cryon. She said, you need to read that book. I'm like, okie dokie. So I went out and I got The Journey Home by Cryon and I started reading it. And in that book, it said that you are the creator of your own reality. And I went, there it is, right there. That is the first thing that has made any sense at all to me about this world. Like, I know the universe works in a very specific, logical way, and I have no idea what that is, but I know that what these words are saying to me is true. I am the creator of my reality, because that's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a big aha. And again, there are all these big lessons by you going through that. Now here you are helping all these other people. But had you not gone through that cancer, that scare, it may not have brought you to that reading the book and becoming aware that we are the creator of our lives. So it is pretty magical when we do tap into the non-physical and get the answers that are very material. We bring it into the material form, in the earthly form, by switching our thoughts. Right? And so we are the creator, we are the producer, we are the actors of our life. And that's where the resistance can come in too. Like, are you kidding me? I would never create this.
Exactly.
Right? Why would I create this? Unfortunately, unbeknownst to us, we don't realize, we haven't been taught. It's not really common knowledge out there that whatever you think about, you attract. So where your attention goes, energy flows. Because we think about what we don't want, and then we keep creating what we don't want without realizing that's what we're doing. So it really is simple. It really is very simple. Maybe not so easy, but it's really simple when we realize the law of attraction, the universe, how the universe works. And when we tap into these unknown realms, whether the angelic realm, the ascended master realm, our guides, nature, they give us guidance, they give us awarenesses to help bring us back into alignment with source.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So it's really cool how your story worked, so that you got that awareness, so that now here you are sharing it with all these people.
Yeah. When I first realized, like, rut-row, this isn't good, I'm facing cancer, the first thing was like, I don't know how I created this, but I have to take responsibility for my own creation. Like, I can't play the victim here because it's my own creation. And
That's where I think we get stopped, though. It's kind of like, why would I do that? That's ridiculous.
exactly. But
That's crazy.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, obviously and the first thing I said to myself was, I didn't create this consciously, obviously. Like, I
Right.
didn't choose to create this, But all of my thoughts that are misaligned, all these thoughts of I'm not okay, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I think I'll go eat worms, you know? I mean, that was like, all of those thoughts are poor me, I'm a victim. This is
Right.
all of those thoughts were what contributed to the degradation of my physical body as my thought space degraded, and it got more and more cluttered and more dense and dark and depressive, and you know, it really was not a pleasant place to live in my head. And it was because of that that my entire life started to match this unpleasant place in my head, this thought space that was filled with constant jabber of what's wrong with me, what am I going to do, how am I going to fix this, what's going to happen, oh my goodness, it was exhausting. I couldn't, you know, my sleep was horrible because the thought space was so cluttered and noisy and constant, just that constant drone in my head. So I realized I have to clean up my act. I have to clean up my own energy. I have to clean up my thoughts and my emotions. And I have to get quiet in order to do that. I realized that, you know, one of the things Kathy and I both, we met in Jim Self's Mastering Alchemy program. And one of the things that Jim teaches is about the 7 layers of thought. You know, and that first layer of thought is that, oh, I can't believe they did that to me. Why did they do that to me? Screw you. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just so noisy and so much anger and throwing energy. You know, and then by the time you get to the 7th layer of thought, there's no thought. It's just quiet. There's just awareness. So I realized that I was in the first, like this, you know, the first, second, and third layers of thought, like all the time. It was always just noisy and movement and busy. And I thought, I have to make it quiet. I have to do some serious space clearing. And then when I was able to clear those thoughts out and just make some space of quiet, that's when the awarenesses just started popping in, going, there's nothing attacking your body. You're not a victim here. Like, all you have to do is start trusting your body. Every time you get a cut, every time you get a scrape, a bruise, a burn, a break, whatever it is, your body automatically heals itself. And it's going to do the exact same thing right now if you trust it. I went, hey, what have I got to lose? That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, one thing that you were talking about is shifting out of the noise, out of the drama, out of the chaos. And the world is becoming noisier and more dramatic and more chaotic. So one of the things that I do on a daily basis, and I share with my clients, is to move into that place of neutrality and observation. And it's as simple as the breath. So I share, it's the 3 consecutive breaths, just focusing on the breath, breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. And breathing in and exhaling. And I ask them typically, before you open your eyes again, just notice what you notice. Do you feel calm and peaceful and balanced? And they typically say yes. And then I say, when you breathe your eyes open, stay in this space. So let's breathe our eyes open. Now we're consciously staying in that space where no thought is thought. Because if a thought comes in when we're in that space, we say, thank you very much. It's like a passing cloud. And I'm just focusing on my breath. And that's that place of the void where it's quiet, it's still. And it brings you back to your I am presence. So that's one of the tools that I use, that I share, and I know we talk about very often, that assist people from moving out of the unconscious into the conscious. Because unintentionally, we are unaware the role that we are playing with our thoughts and our emotions. It's kind of like we're that magnet, and we attract and emit whatever we're thinking, whatever we're feeling. So if we can at least move into that space 2, 3, 4 times a day in the beginning, until we create this new pattern for ourselves, it's really, really a beautiful thing. And it's simple.
Absolutely.
And I've noticed people want, the ego wants, edge God out. They want to make things complicated. We've been brought up like, if it's important, it's complicated. Oh, that's too simple. It can't be important. No, that's the ego that's been played into this whole thing. So if we can know and experience it, then we realize that's what the self-realization is. This is where I am, my I am presence. That's the power. That's the sovereignty.
Is. It's beautiful. I love that simple little exercise, which just, it quiets the mind, it calms the energy, and it brings our awareness to our breath. You know, we're breathing all day, every day, but how often do we stop and just simply notice what's actually going on in our body? That breath is going on in our body 24/7. But
Without the breath, we wouldn't be here.
exactly, like how often do we just simply notice it?
Well, yeah, most of us don't breathe correctly. And if you look at a little baby in a crib and the way that belly goes out and in, it's very rhythmic. But what happens when we become tense and we go into fear? We either become shallow breathing, or sometimes we actually hold our breath.
Exactly. And when we do that, when we have that little shock and it's like, and we stop breathing, it stops the flow of energy, and the energy will literally get stuck right there. It's like it forms a little energy dam. And then the next time we go to breathe, like we don't want to move past that. You know, it's like it gets stuck. And it's like, oh, that didn't feel good when I was there the last time. So let me just stay a little short, you know, and we start breathing shallower and more shallow. And and our posture starts to collapse, and we start to breathe just with the chest. So on that diaphragm with the baby and the breathing with the belly, like, because the diaphragm is fully active and bringing all that blood and oxygen into the cells. But when we stop breathing, that diaphragm stops working, and we just start breathing shallow from the chest, and we're not feeding and healing ourselves and moving the energy through our body with our breath.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, the angels are coming through, and Archangel Raphael, he's all about the breathing and the healing. And think about the breath. It's this beautiful balance of inhalations and exhalations. You can't just inhale or just exhale. You wouldn't be living. It's an exhalation.
Sorry, just refreshing my screen here. Sorry.
That's okay.
Good morning. We've got Donna and Delbert and Shannon watching so far this morning. We've got a few more. Yeah, if you're in here, drop us a good morning. Hello, everyone.
Does anyone have any questions? It's always fun to see what comes up.
Absolutely. And I love that when we get quiet, we can hear the angels. We can hear the ones who are in the non-physical. Just because beings don't currently have a physical body doesn't mean they're not there, doesn't mean they're not real, doesn't mean they don't have valuable things to offer to help us. So I love that you regularly speak with the angels and receive messages.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, it's like anything. It's like a muscle. The more that you use it, the more open and powerful and strong it becomes. And it's similar to us. We have this this conversation going. We put attention into it. So we create this relationship, right? And so it's available to us connecting with the angels. And, why wouldn't we want to connect with the angels? I mean, they're there to give us this wonderful guidance, bringing us back into our wholeness.
Absolutely. We have Michelle asking, I've called in angels so many times, but no one ever shows up. Why?
Okay, well, I'm so glad you asked that question, because they actually do show up. What happens is when we're too noisy, or we have an expectation of how they should show up, very often people are like, they're thinking it's going to be lightning bolts and like, oh, I heard God, or I heard the angels. It really doesn't work like that. So it could come through to you in a myriad of different ways. There's clairsentience, which is your feelings. So it could come through a different feeling for you. Or it could be clairaudience, where you hear something and it could be in your own voice. It's not necessarily like when I hear the angels, it's kind of like my voice, even though it could be Archangel Raphael, it doesn't matter. It comes through my voice. So it could also be visual, right? I could actually, like in my mind's eye, have a vision of, for example, Archangel Raphael. He comes through for me with jade green.
Me too.
Or the other thing that's really a way for them to come through is nature. So we ask the question, and then it's like we surrender it, and then the answer comes through in a myriad of ways when we notice it. So I've had so many people say, I never get any messages. I keep asking and it never comes through. And then they'll tell me this phenomenal story of all of these signs that they got. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, do you hear what you just said? It's kind of like, yeah, I met this person down the street and then they directed me down here and then I went there. So it's through the material world that we get the answers as well. So it could be in the song that all of a sudden you're hearing on the radio, or a book that you're reading. You see? So it's not really woo-woo when we get the answers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, absolutely. And for me, a lot of times, I look for a feeling when the angels come, meaning that I know that my angels, all of the teams that I work with, they love me. And that feeling of non-resistance, that feeling of acceptance, that feeling of being loved and honored and valued, that energy comes through. There's just kind of a soothing energy, but it takes me putting my attention on that. It's like, yeah, like just like when you and I get together, just like right now, it's like I feel like this great love for my friend. Like my heart opens. I'm always happy to see her or to hear her on the phone. It's like she always just brightens my day. And it's the same thing with the angels. It's just, we're not chatting on Zoom with the angels.
Yeah. So one thing I'd like to bring to your attention is, so you said, I feel them, right? You sense them. You sense their energy. So that's one of your ways that they can communicate with you, because that's one of the ways that it's available. So we all have with the 4 different ways, whether you hear it, see it, feel it, or know it, you just have a knowing. We each have a stronger way that we'll communicate. So if we realize, like, oh, do I notice when I go to a movie, for example? And if we were to think back, what's my favorite movie when I was little? And what was it about the movie? Was it the way it made me feel? Was it the visual? So when we ask those questions, we start becoming aware of our strengths. So it was like, oh yeah, it was the way it made me feel. Like I love, for me, it was visual and feeling, and it was Dr. Dolittle, the original Dr. Dolittle. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was magical. It was cool. The communication, the visual with the, flying on the butterfly and riding in the snail. So when I do that, I'm like, okay, so my gifts may be, or my natural way of communication may be the visual and the sensual, sensing it. So I'm bringing that up for your friend that asked the question, to see, maybe go back to either a book that you read when you were little or a movie to see what was it that you loved about it. So that might be like a little key or a little insight for you to communicate.
I can relate to that really well too, because like, I didn't think I used to be able to talk to the angels. Like I used to go, help me. And I was like, where are you? Why didn't you help me? And I was like, and I was expecting, I was expecting to see them like materialize in my room, or, have a conversation, like I can hear, I expected the conversation to be exactly like talking to Kathy on the phone, or, talking to my friend, to be able to hear it that clearly. And I suddenly realized, well, wait a minute. I think it's a little more subtle. Like I need to like tune in a little bit more, because I know that they're there. Like that was clear to me. Like I know that the angels are there when I call to them. And so I had to work from that backwards to go, wait a minute. I'm calling out, nothing's happening, nobody's there, nobody's listening to me. Why are they rejecting me? And all of that stuff that I was going through. I was like, wait a minute. The angels are right here, right now. Like, because they're just here. Like it was just clear to me. So then I just had to start fine tuning. Like, all right, can I just get quiet? Can I listen for them? Or can I, and if I couldn't listen for them, it's like, all right, what color is this angel? And a color would appear. I'm like, oh, all right. So then like every time, like you were saying, like Archangel Raphael, every time I call in Archangel Raphael, he's always the emerald green. I'm like, oh, hey, there you are. So sometimes I just simply, it's not like I see the green with my eyeballs. It's just like, I'm aware of the color green. And I'm aware that there's an angelic presence here. And then I've tuned into, oh, well, this is what the energy feels like. Just like when I call you on the phone, it's like, I'm aware of what your energy feels like. Your energy doesn't feel like anybody else's energy that I know, because you're completely unique, just like I'm completely unique. So we all have our unique energy signatures.
Yep, that's what I was going to say, the energy signature. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. So it just being kind to yourself as you do this, and don't eliminate what messages come through. Because sometimes they come through in strange ways and you think that's ridiculous. Or how could that be? I remember years ago when I was taking a class with Doreen Virtue in Hawaii. And so you had to read somebody else's messages and who came through. And her dad came through, and but he had a silver whistle. And I'm like, well, this is really strange. But it came through with the Sound of Music. Remember the father and the Sound of Music?
Oh, yeah.
And he would blow the whistle for all the kids.
Right.
And what I did is I thought, well, it made no sense to me. So what I did is at that moment, I was like, oh gosh, do I share this with her? I sound ridiculous. This sounds stupid. So I think rather than telling her about the whistle, I said, well, the Sound of Music, and the father came through and he would blow the whistle. And she was like, oh my God. She said, that's what my dad would do. He was very materialistic and kind of like, you had to come. They lived in Queens, and he would blow the whistle and they would come They would all have to come. And there were like 8 of them. So we may not understand what the message means, but allow it to come through and just sit with it and be open to it. Don't eliminate it or don't edit what comes through. Yeah, it's really amazing how it all works. It's like, well, what is this? What could this mean? This is strange. And yet, yeah, it's a way of letting you know who's coming through, whether it's an angel or it could be your parent or a guide. The other thing that they're sharing is every single one of us has at least 2 guardian angels. Your guardian angel stays with you 24/7. Quote, this is their job. This is their service. This is their love. So you're not bothering anybody when you ask for help. We've been given free will though. So we continually do have to ask for help with any particular situation or question that we have. It's not like a blanket thing like, okay, angels help me all the time. Nope. It's like, help me with this particular situation, or it could be help me find my necklace, or it could be it's anything and everything. It's not like we're wasting their time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've started practicing with my angels and just say, I want a hug. Let's just have a nice hug. And so I just open my arms and allow the angels to give me a hug, and I sit there and I feel hugged and loved. And I realize most humans, we don't allow ourselves to be loved on like that, because there's always like, I don't want to open my heart because I might get hurt. They might take advantage of me. They might leave me. They might, this, that, or the other thing. And so there's usually we're kind of guarded. We've learned to put these walls up around us because this reality has not been all that safe for everybody for a really, really long time. So when we start to, what I noticed was that when I started to ask the angels, I was like, I could really just use some love right now, just to feel accepted and honored and respected. And I would just in my thought space, in my imagination, just like lay down on a beautiful bed of light and just allow all them to send me all of these energies. And it just,
you want to bring us through this right now?
Oh, sure, why not? I mean, it's so beautiful. So let's call in our angels for a minute. Call in your most loving angelic team. Take a few nice deep breaths. Allow your eyes to close as long as you're not walking or driving. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And just allowing your thought space to get quiet and curious. I wonder where those angels are. All of those angels, just notice. I feel there are about 6 of them standing around each of us, just in a beautiful circle. And in the middle of this circle, there's a beautiful bed of light. Allow yourself to just lay back on this beautiful bed of light, just using your imagination, sitting back in your chair, but allow yourself to be laying on this beautiful bed of light. Feel how it just embraces you, it envelops you. You're just suspended, no resistance, embraced by light on this soft bed of light. Now all of these angels, they're sending love. Feel your heart opening. feel these angels, how much honor they have for you, how much respect. They don't care what you've created in your physical circumstances. They just love you for you, no matter what. They know how hard it is to be human. This is a crazy gig we've chosen coming into this physical earth reality. So they are here to lift us up, to embrace us, to let us know that we are loved beyond measure. Allow yourself to feel that love with no judgment. Notice that this space, there is no judgment at all. Total acceptance and love, honor, respect. Allow them to look into your energy field and clean out any of the density that's present, any feelings of resistance that have been built up in your energy field. Ask them to clear out the resistance, any shames or guilts or heaviness that we've been carrying, worries. Watch as they're sending light into your auric field, clearing out any darkness, any density, any lower frequency vibrations that have been holding you down. Notice the light, the brightness, and the lightness, the lack of density that is happening in your auric field as they send more and more love, more and more light. Just allow yourself to feel this unconditional love. Notice how quiet it's getting in your thought space. Just making room to receive all of this love. This love is here for us 24/7. All we have to do is place our attention right here. This space is available all the time. And if you notice, your brain waves are changing. Your physiology is actually changing when you place your attention in this space and you allow yourself to feel the love that is being sent to you. This is a real experience. When your thought waves, when your brain waves, when your thought patterns change, when your physiology changes, this is what's actually real. This is your current physical experience. By placing your attention in the non-physical realms, you can change your physical experience. And this is just one simple way. And these angels are here 24/7, and we can ask them for specific things like, hey, I've been feeling fear or anger or guilt. Look in my energy field. See where that's coming from. I would like to change that. Can you please help me to change that in my energy field? Let's clear that out of my energy field. I would like a different experience. we can't see in our own energy fields, but they can. So when we get specific and ask for assistance, they will help us start to change our reality from the inside out. And this is that first step. Getting quiet and allowing yourself to feel the presence of these angels, allowing yourself to feel loved unconditionally. Are there messages, Kathy, that are coming through that the angels would like to impart?
Yeah, they're saying become aware and notice what you notice. Could be in colors. Colors carry codes and frequencies. Just allow yourself to be bathed in these beautiful colors. Feel the peace that the blue carries. As you harmonize with every part of your being. Connect with the green and the pink. Feeling healthy and young. As a child playing. Feel the joy of the red. Connecting with Mother Earth. And allow the yellow of the sun to enlighten you. Bringing in the awarenesses with ease and grace. Comes through in the rays of light. So you remember who you are. You are a creator. You are the producer. You are the director. You are the actor of your life. How do you choose to experience yourself? Breathe in the peace, the love, and the joy. Feel the rebalance, feel the rejuvenation. As we give thanks to all that is, to our angelic guides, and to ourselves for being here. Self-love, self-acceptance. So that we can create in beauty, tranquility, and harmony. And we do this in gratitude and appreciation. Thank you.
Remember what it was like being a little kid with a whole new world to explore. That innocence of childhood, where we had no responsibilities. In the summers, we just played and played. We went outside and played in nature. Think of that lightness, that fun, that infinite possibilities.
And the fireflies.
And the butterflies and the hummingbirds and the toads and all of the things in nature.
Mm-hmm.
The raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Allow ourselves to feel that. And when we're taught to be adults and take responsibility for your lives, it gets so heavy and we lose the innocence of childhood. Our innocence is stolen by the responsibilities of having to make a living and all of those things that we have to do. But when we bring ourselves back to this space of innocence, isn't that what Jesus said about let them come as children, as little children? That means that innocent energy. When we're in this space of innocence and purity, we can create easily. There's no resistance in this space. When we allow ourselves to be loved and honored and respected by the angelic realm, we realize that this is what's real. This is our natural, normal state, equal to the angels. Nobody above us, nobody below us, just being who we are. It's totally okay to be ourselves. Placing our attention right here in the non-physical realms. When we organize this space for ourselves and we practice feeling these feelings, and we start to operate from curiosity and what's possible, and lightness and possibility and expansion and play, life starts to become so much easier because we can just start to move around easier without all of that heaviness and density. So this is the advantage of placing your attention in the non-physical realms. We're changing our physiology simply with our awareness and intention. There's a real experience as we change our physiology. This is how we heal our bodies, by changing our thought space, by allowing our physical bodies to come back into balance here. No work required. Asking for angelic assistance, opening to receive these beautiful energies, to create from this space.
And so it is.
Yes, as we say goodbye, we're not really saying goodbye to our angelic friends. They're always here, always available. This healing bed of light is always available. So the more we come here in our conscious waking state, the more we create from this energy. And our lives change pretty lickety split from this energy. That was beautiful.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning, Kinsey. Thanks for joining. So how was that experience for everyone? Shannon says, thank you. That was so soothing and loving. I saw an open window with a see-through flowing curtain. There was a translucent purple lavenderish light. Oh, how beautiful.
Lovely.
We can all create these spaces for ourselves. You know, what we place our attention on in any given moment, that's our reality in that given moment. The external world wants our attention. It is vying for our attention. It is screaming loudly for our attention. But do we really want to place a lot of our attention on the noise, on the chaos, and the confusion, the have-tos? Or would we rather create heaven on earth for ourselves, for each other, for this gorgeous planet? All possibilities exist. And right now, we as humanity are at a choice point. There is a fork in the road. And there are two very clear pathways that we can take. And they're both equally available right now. There's one pathway that leads us down the road of disease and protecting ourselves and stay home and live in isolation and protection and all kinds of crazy things. That's one very clear path that is being laid out before us. And there is also a completely different path that many of us are already walking, a path of well-being, a path of peace and ease, a path of harmony, a path of openness, of no resistance, a path where disease doesn't even exist. It's exactly as real. Each one is as real as the other. There are people that are living on both paths, equally available, but it's up to each and every one of us to choose which path we wish to take. And getting quiet, paying attention inside in our own thought space is where all of our power rests. So right now, the one path is calling very loudly. There are Pied Pipers that are calling everybody down one path. But you have the ability to say no to that path and say yes to a path of heaven on earth. Are you ready? So Michelle is asking, do angels have to bring good only? I've been asking for angels to come to me in some way for 20 minutes. Nothing showed up, except I began to cry, crying because of sadness. Are the angels doing that?
So, we label our emotions, and crying is a beautiful thing because it's allowing you to release something that needs to come out, to be released. And so it's a clearing. And it's a beautiful opportunity for you to allow that, because there's probably something that you're sad about. So it's bringing it up to the forefront. I say very often, we don't want to see things. So it's like a beach ball, and we keep pushing these emotions down like a beach ball under the water, don't we? And then what happens? It keeps popping up and popping up and popping up because it has to be dealt with. So the emotions of crying, the sadness that's coming up is beautiful because it allows you to be sad, to feel that, and simultaneously to feel the comfort and the nurturing that the angels are sharing with you, because you wouldn't be able to cry, would you, if you didn't feel safe? So imagine that they embraced you and offered you this beautiful space for you to, this void for you to feel vulnerable enough to allow your feelings to come through so that you can get to the next level. So it was a beautiful gift for you.
Absolutely. And what did we do when we were there? we asked for them to take a look at our energy field and lift out anything that has been bogging us down. So that crying is the act of clearing out that sadness that had been stuck in there. So that is actually the angels helping you to release that energy that has been stuck in your energy field. So it's not that nobody showed up. Look again, notice. Okay. So, and you say nothing showed up, but obviously something did show up. Like, you had an instant manifestation of this showed up. We asked and you received.
And it's beautiful that it showed up in that way. And that's what we were talking a little bit about before, that it's not like, oh, you know, it could be you crying, or it could be the song that you hear that brings you to tears, or it could be something that you overhear, that's conversation. Those are the signs. So this is beautiful that you asked that question for not only yourself, but for other people that may be feeling that those exact things, like I'm not getting a message. When we realize this is how it works, it's in the subtleties. It's not so much in the face, it's the subtleties that it comes through. So congratulate yourself. Well done.
Absolutely. And there was, Denise says, it's always good. Great. Yeah. And, you know, that sadness for the loss of our innocence. You know, we were all that innocent child filled with hope and love and joy. And so for so many of us, we've had that really just beaten out of us. You know, life has beat us up in many different ways, shapes, and forms. So that release is allowing to make space to allow some of that innocence and lightness to return. So it's all beautiful. Denise says, thank you for always teaching us. We're not really teaching, we're just helping you remember what you already know.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, Kathy, I know we've been on for about an hour. I want to respect your time this morning.
Oh, thank you.
This has been so beautiful.
Exactly my words. Beautiful. It was lovely. I could feel the energies of the people with us, whether they hear it in this now moment or at a later date. If they're listening, they're meant to be here. They're on this path, and there's no coincidences.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So enjoy connecting with your angels and connecting with nature and all of the myriad of ways that the non-physical can help you in your daily life.
Mm-hmm. And really start noticing your thought space. Is your thought space cluttered? Does it need a little space clearing? What thoughts are running through your thought space on a regular basis? And are they pleasant thoughts, or do you enjoy thinking them? Or are there some other thoughts like the ones that we just did today that are more pleasant, more pleasing, more enjoyable, that would help to create a more pleasant and joyful reality? So, Kathy, this is one of the ways that you help your clients, is to help them to manage their thought space, to notice the energies, to notice the angelic realms. So how can people reach out and get in touch with you?
Thank you. Yes, the best way is my website, which is Kathy Bradley and the Angels. So thank you so very much. It's been an honor and a joy to be with everyone today. Wishing you all great love.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us. We love having Kathy as our guest, and I'm sure we'll have her back again next month with Keith Leon as well, where we do our lovely angelic talks. And so thank you to Kathy Bradley and the angels this morning. And I am Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing. And you can find me at my website, connectingyoutoyou.com. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next week, create for yourselves a great week. Open your hearts and allow yourselves to be fully loved on by the angelic realms. You deserve it. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all next week. Bye for
Blessings.
now.